Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine waking up one morning, living what you think is a perfectly ordinary life. Everything seems solid.
Mm-hmm.
Then, just a subtle crack appears in that reality. Maybe it's some forgotten document you stumble across.
Or something someone says offhand, a slip of the tongue from a relative, maybe.
Exactly. Or even a weird, chilling remark from a neighbor. And suddenly, the quiet life you thought you knew, it isn't quiet at all.
No.
It becomes this suspenseful, really layered story just waiting to unravel.
Yes.
And it forces you to question, well, everything.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how often the truth, especially when you look inside families or these really tight-knit communities,
Right.
it isn't always some grand conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the quiet secrets, betrayals, disappearances, hidden identities, stuff like that.
Things hidden just beneath the surface.
Exactly. And they're the most disruptive because they've been silently shaping lives, sometimes for decades.
And today, you're joining us on a deep dive into precisely that. We're going to trace a truly incredible personal story.
Yeah, it really is something.
And it becomes this window, really, into how these quiet secrets can just permeate families, even entire towns, revealing layers of personal betrayal, small-town cover-ups.
And even institutional corruption. It touches on so many levels.
This isn't just one person's search for identity. It's a profound look at how fragile our realities can be.
And the lengths people go to, either to protect secrets or to uncover them.
So get ready for some surprising facts that might just shift how you think about what it means to truly know your own story. Okay, so our journey begins with a young boy named Paul Fronczak. Picture this. It's the mid-1970s. Paul's about 10 years old, and he's rummaging through a dusty crawl space in his family's Chicago home. Just being a kid, right? Hoping maybe to find some hidden Christmas presents early.
A classic kid move. But instead,
buried amongst all the forgotten stuff, he finds hundreds of old newspaper clippings. Yellowed, brittle things.
and this is where the story gets its first real jolt, isn't it? This seemingly innocent discovery. But it plants this seed. A seed of profound doubt.
Yeah, because the headlines on these clippings, they weren't about Christmas. They screamed this dramatic story. The kidnapping of a one-day-old infant.
From a Chicago hospital back in 1964.
Right, and the huge revelation within those papers. That 2 years after the kidnapping, the baby boy was supposedly found.
And returned to his family.
Returned to his family. And the clippings, and his parents later confirmed, declared that that found boy was him, Paul Fronczak.
Wow. So he grows up with this story.
For nearly 50 years, he lives as that returned child, the found baby. Celebrated in some ways, I guess, but also carrying this, unspoken weight of that dramatic past.
But something wasn't quite right for him.
No. He said he always felt different, like he didn't quite fit in his own family. This long-held suspicion just gnawed at him.
That feeling of otherness.
Exactly. So in 2012, fueled by this feeling that just wouldn't go away, he takes a DNA test, an at-home kit.
Okay. And this is where Paul's whole world shifts, right?
Completely flips. The test results come back, and they prove unequivocally he was not the kidnapped boy. Oh, my goodness.
Can you even imagine? Your entire life story, the foundation you thought you stood on, just crumbles instantly.
That kind of discovery, researchers actually have a term for it, misattributed paternity.
Okay.
It's basically learning that the person you believed was your biological parent, often the father, isn't actually your genetic parent.
Right.
But for Paul, it wasn't just about a parent. It meant his entire identity, the whole narrative of being the stolen baby, was based on a complete untruth.
A lie, essentially.
Yeah, or at least a massive mistake. And in that single moment, he finds himself right in the middle of two huge half-century-old mysteries.
Who was he, really?
Exactly. And where was the real Paul Fronczak? The baby who actually was taken from that hospital room.
It triggers this almost existential crisis, doesn't it? This deep, primal need to figure out your origins.
Absolutely. It goes right to the core of who you are.
So when a person's entire sense of self just gets uprooted like that, what does that actually feel like? The psychological impact must be, well, huge. Oh, immense. Precisely. And the research on people discovering misattributed paternity, or maybe that they were donor conceived, through DNA tests, it reveals a core set of themes. It's way more than just shock.
Okay.
There are these pervasive feelings of sadness, grief, a really profound sense of loss.
Loss of what, exactly?
Well, it's not just about missed time with family you never knew. It's often this deep mourning for the loss of that biological connection to the father they thought was theirs.
Right.
And maybe even more crucially, a lost version of themselves, the person they thought they were.
Wow.
Participants in studies, they described it using words like painful, sad, and emotional. One person even found out their biological father was already deceased on the same day they discovered his existence,
Yeah.
just compounding the grief.
It's like your entire personal history just gets overwritten, erased almost. Everything you thought you knew about yourself, your family, your roots, suddenly it's all questionable. It must create this incredibly disorienting sense of unreality.
Yeah, it's like a profound internal earthquake. One participant in a study, they described it really vividly when they found out about their donor conception. They said their entire world got disrupted and erupted.
Erupted. That's a strong word.
It is. And another really powerful theme is this intense sense of betrayal and anger.
Towards the parents who kept the secret.
Often, yes, especially when they confront family members about the DNA results, and the family continues to deny it, even with scientific proof right there. That can lead to what one person called consuming uncomfortable anger.
I can imagine.
Some people discovered their families had actively kept up a charade for years, maybe portraying their biological father as a stepfather, for instance.
Why? To save face.
Often, yeah. To preserve their place in their community, as one study put it. To avoid judgment or awkward questions. It shows the extraordinary lengths families will go to keep these secrets buried, sometimes for decades. But there's always a hidden cost, usually borne by the child.
So let's bring this back to Paul Fronczak's story. His own true identity. He eventually finds it through his own relentless investigation, right?
He does. He learns he was actually born Jack Thomas Rosenthal.
Jack Rosenthal, a completely different person.
Completely. And then, almost unbelievably, another bombshell drops.
Oh no, what now?
He discovers he had a twin sister, Jill Rosenthal.
A twin.
Yes, who had disappeared without a trace around the same time he himself was abandoned as an infant.
Disappeared. So missing. Or worse.
That's the agonizing question.
Yeah.
And to make it even harder, some of his newfound biological relatives, including Jill's other siblings, Linda and Fred, they actively refused to talk to him.
Refused. About his own twin sister.
Yeah. Refused to discuss what happened to Jill or even much about his own past. Just shut him down.
That's not just personal betrayal. That feels like a profound, actively guarded family secret. They're deliberately keeping his own foundational story from him.
Exactly. And it raises this critical question. What is the enduring cost of secrets like these? The research points out that before people discover the truth, they often have this deep sense of otherness, like we mentioned, a feeling of not quite belonging.
Like Paul felt.
Precisely. Feeling subtly different from their family, sometimes their whole lives, but not knowing why. Paul himself said he felt like the boy who was thrown away, not the boy who was stolen. Big difference.
Wow.
But the discovery, while it's undeniably painful and causes so much emotional fallout, it could also bring this immense relief. A powerful sense of completeness almost.
Really?
Relief? Yes. A feeling of finally being their own person, or as some described it, looking in the mirror and finally seeing their eyes, recognizing physical traits in newfound biological family.
That makes sense. Finding connection.
Finding connection. Finding yourself, in a way. Paul's determined quest to find Jill, to find his true self, it really resonates with that instinctual need to belong he talks about in his book. You know, that deep yearning for home, like a lone wolf finally finding its pack. Yeah. And if we connect this now to the bigger picture, these personal betrayals, these deep family secrets, they're often tangled up with larger issues. Societal silences, institutional failures, even active cover-ups.
Right. It's not just happening in a vacuum.
Not at all. Paul's journey isn't just about his family. It echoes how truth can be suppressed on a much bigger scale.